Hello everybody. In this video I want to show you how you can resize your crochet pattern. Of course you can resize crochet patterns by changing the yarn thickness or changing your crochet hook size. Here we're talking about actually changing the number of stitches up or down in order to make much larger or much smaller models. Or rather amigurumis, for example. So I'm going to start with the Stanford bunny. The way I created these instructions is using the CrochetPARADE Remesher. It's this new tool that takes in a 3D model and creates crochet instructions for you. I introduced that in the previous video. I used the model for the Stanford bunny from the Thingiverse. I'm going to link to it in the description of this video. So anyway, I use that, and here are the instructions. Now I'm going to pretend I don't have the original STL model. So how I created the instructions doesn't matter, whether they came from an STL model or I was just experimenting with the hook and yarn. So anyway, here is my bunny. Now I want to change the number of stitches for this bunny that you see here. What can I do? Well, what you can do is you can click on Tools and use this new tool, Save 3D Model to STL, which is part of the Find Periphery project tool. The Find Periphery project, the Find Project Periphery tool, I introduced that in a previous video. It allows you to create edgings or attach different swatches together at the edges. Again, it's a tool that we talked about earlier. Now it acquired a new option here, Save Detected 3D Model Surfaces STL file. So I'm going to click on that, run it, and what it does is it takes the instruction, the 3D model that you see here, fills in all these holes into a solid surface. That surface, the STL surface, is if you close it in Blender, if it wasn't closed for this model, it's already closed. You can go ahead and 3D print it if you want with a 3D printer. So you can create a 3D printed model of your crochet pattern right away. So anyway, here it is, it's saved. So what I'm going to do next, as in order to change or resize my pattern, is I'm going to open this bunny or this STL model that I just exported in the Remesher. Okay, so here is the website again, CrochetPARADE.org. You click on the new tool, the Remesher. You choose the file, you open the model. Again, this is the model that was just created, oops, sorry guys, based on these instructions. Again, the starting point is the crochet instructions, which we want to resize. Here is the 3D model based on the instructions. I saved that as an STL. In the Remesher, I opened it up. And you can see the surface is different from the original in the sense that it's much smoother, because, of course, I didn't use tens of thousands of stitches in order to create it, and there are some defects here and there. Again, none of this is perfect. Use this as a starting point, anything that you get from the Remesher. Alright, so I'm gonna use a magic ring here, and I'm gonna, as a starting point, I'm gonna use the snout. The same starting point for this bunny here. Here is the snout. Okay, and now I need to change, or rather I need to remesh it. I need to get CrochetPARADE instructions for this bunny with a different number of instructions. So how do you do that? You go to the length scale. This tells you how big the stitch size each stitch is. So here is the default value. Now for the original instructions I use the default value. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this value to 0.025. All right, let's calculate it. Press calculate and let's see what we get. The calculation proceeds, yada, 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 yada. And here is the remeshed bunny. Okay, I'm going to copy the instructions. Then I'm going to go back to CrochetPARADE. Paste those instructions here, and let's see what we get. Okay, here it is. Now, I don't know if you guys notice, this new bunny has much fewer stitches than the original bunny I started with. So we just resized our model, which was the goal of this exercise. So again, you can play around with it. You have some control over the stitches and how exactly the stitches are laid out. The way you can do it in the Remesher is by using the interactive mode and use this prompt here. Again, look at my video introducing the Remesher to see how that works. With that, I just want to show you, this is the whole introduction to how you can resize your crochet pattern. I just want to show you a couple more things, just cool things you can do here. So let's say you start with a baby booty demonstration. Here it is. What you can do here is, again, I'm gonna export it as a 3D model. There it is, it's saved. Again, I'm not gonna actually use the periphery, so don't mind the yellow line. What I'm gonna do next is I'm actually gonna save this picture that you see here. Oops, sorry. Let me just maybe do this. What you see here as a GOTF file, which is also compatible with Blender. So now we have two files saved. The STL file, which corresponds to the closed surface, or in this case it will be open because there's an opening at the top, and the GOTF file, which corresponds to what you see here, all these tubes, which are supposed to represent the actual yarn. So I'm going to import both of them in Blender next. This is Blender, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the files. Okay, so first I'm going to open the STL file. Okay, the way I did it is file, import STL file. Now I need to zoom in. Wait, did I press import or export? Let's see. Import STL file. Oh, whoops. Never mind. Let me try again. File, import STL file. Not exactly sure why it's not working. Let me try again. Okay, I'll restart Blender. Okay, so here it is. Import STL file, and let me download it. Okay, so here it is. Here is the model. This is the 3D surface. Again, it's not fully closed, it's open at the top, which if you wanted to print out, you would have to close it up, but this is the STL file. Now let me import the GOTF file, import GOTF. And the GOTF file is much larger, so it will take a while usually. It takes a while to load. Oh, there it is. And you can see how they're overlaid on top of each other. Okay, so again, you can use these for whatever purposes you want. You can use it to do animations in Blender, you can use it for, again, 3D printing, or whatever you would like. I'm going to show you one more, which again, I think it's pretty cool. I'm going to use the lacy hat example. So let me show you again the website. Here's the website, lacy hat. I'm going to calculate it. It gives you a innocuous warning there. There's the lacy hat. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to again export it as an STL file. And let's see how the STL treats these holes. Okay, and again, don't mind the yellow lines here. And I'm going to export the GOTF file as well. All right, going back to Blender. Let me just show you Blender. Okay, so let me just get rid of these. Okay, so here it is, file, import STL file. And here is the hat in the STL. So as you can see, the holes are detected pretty decently. There are a couple of fails here around the top. They have to do with the hidden stitches that are causing issues with the periphery detectors, but you can edit these by hand. Again, for the most part, the hat is decently detected and the holes are decently detected here. Then you can go ahead and import the GOTF and just let's see what they look like together. And here it is. Okay, so I would say pretty decent. Okay, everybody, well, thank you so much for your attention. Take care. I hope you have fun with this new tool.